All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today. It's another episode of the J model of leadership. My name is Fatubaru Temitope, and I'd like to welcome you once again. Today, we're going to be discussing an aspect of the J model of leadership that has to do with the Manger's strategy. The Manger's strategy. What is it all about? I'll be explaining pretty soon. But first and foremost, let's give a recap of what we did in the last episode, where we talked about the J model of leadership proper. And we talked about starting. We talked about starting from where you are, making the most of what you have. And so if you missed that particular episode, if you missed that particular session, I would recommend that you visit my channel on YouTube. It's there. You'll be able to gain insight into what I talked about. Apologies for the little distraction. I have my little child here. He's trying to gain attention as usual. So I'm busy, let me continue with what I'm doing. Okay, so thank you for joining. Today we'll look at the Manger's strategy, and for those who are familiar with the story, I think you will begin to understand where I am coming from when I'm talking about the Manger. I'm talking about the Lord Jesus Christ. That the strategy is actually from when he was born to when he left the earth. A series or a couple of leadership lessons that we can learn from his lifetime. And that is where I brought out this J model of leadership from. Okay, so today it is the Manger strategy, and we are going to be looking at the available versus the desirable. As a leader, at some point you are going to be confronted with. Sorry, excuse me. Stop. I'm doing something. Don't distract. Apologies for that. As a leader, you'll be confronted with different situations in your leadership journey. Some of them will be as you planned, and some will definitely not be the way you plan. Okay, so these are the things that this strategy seeks to address as you progress in your leadership journey. The available versus the desirable. Sometimes what you desire might not be what is available. Sometimes the conditions that you are faced with might not be the ones that you truly want. So how do you navigate such situations? How do you navigate such conditions to ensure that you are still moving towards your desired goals? You are still headed in the right direction. So I have divided this particular strategy into two segments. You know, when I started last week, I said the J model of leadership is actually for budding leaders that are just trying to cut their teeth, leaders that are just trying to take up leadership positions. Okay, so the first aspect of the Manger strategy will be directed at those budding leaders, the upcoming leaders, young leaders who are just assuming leadership positions. And of course, the second aspect will now be addressed to those who are a little more experienced, who have advanced a little in their leadership journey. So for the budding leaders, how do you apply this Manger strategy? How do you marry what is available versus what is desirable? Okay, as a leader, when you're beginning on your journey, there are certain skills and knowledge that is required for you to become a successful leader. But the truth is, no one has everything. when they start out. Okay, no matter how impressive a leader is today, no matter how effective a leader is today, they didn't have everything that they have. All the leadership skills they are able to use today, they didn't have them when they started on their journey. They kept growing, they kept developing these skills to get to where they are at the moment. So if you have anyone that you want to emulate, if you have anyone that you desire to be like, and any leader you desire to be like, and you are wondering how, when will I be like this? I don't have what it takes. I will take you when we are done. I don't have what it takes to be this successful. I don't have what it takes to be this successful as a leader. Can I ever attain this leadership journey? This jail model of leadership is actually for you. This jail model of leadership is actually for you. And how do you start? In that story, in that Manger story, when it was time for Jesus Christ to be given birth to, they got to an inn and they couldn't get a place. Now, what that tells me is that they already planned. Okay, they had a plan to get an inn for Mary, so that Jesus can be born in a proper place. But on getting there, the whole place was filled up. There was no other place. There was no space. There was no free room for them to lodge. So they had to look for what was available. So the same thing for you as a leader. When you start out on your journey, the first thing you are expected to do is to take stock. Identify all the skills and qualities that makes a person a successful leader. That is where you need to start from, and that is where I'm starting from for budding leaders, for young people who are just coming on to become leaders. It's not something you do by accident. Leadership is not something, it's not a responsibility, it's not a position, it is not a journey you take by accident. It is going to be deliberate. You have to be deliberate about your leadership journey. Okay? If you are not deliberate, you are not going to succeed. So you need to sit down and ask yourself, what are the qualities, what are the characteristics that makes a successful leader? Okay, it is very, very important. So when you list out all these skills, all these qualities, all these characteristics that makes one a successful leader, then number two is that you now begin to examine yourself. Remember last episode I mentioned an aspect of you taking time to know yourself. So this is where it becomes very, very useful. You list out the skills, or you identify, after you have listed out the leadership skills that are needed for one to be a successful leader. Now ask yourself, which of these skills do I already have? Okay, then after you have determined them, after you have listed out the skills, out of all the skills, for instance, if you listed 50 skills, and then you begin to tick the ones that you have, that you know that you already have with you. Let's say they are like 15. When you have been able to identify those ones, that is the second step. Identify the skills that you have. Now begin to use the ones you have already. Okay? Remember last episode I talked about starting where you are, starting with those around you, starting with what you have. So the skills that you already have with you, no matter how little it might seem, no matter how weak it might seem, begin to use those ones. That is the essence of the available versus the desirable. Wherever you are, whatever level of skills you have, it is enough for you to get started as a leader. For instance, if you know that you are a very good communicator, then begin to use your communication skills to lead. Don't wait till you have every other skills before you say you want to become a leader. Start with the ones that you have already. Okay. Now, after you have identified the ones that you have, what then happens? Is that all? Are you supposed to just focus on those ones and don't bother? No. To be successful as a leader, you need to develop the other ones that you don't have. After you have identified the skills that you don't have, it is important, right? It is important. It is very, very key for you Okay, it is important for you to now decide, how do I begin to develop the skills that I don't have? How do I develop the skills that I don't have? Okay, how do I develop the skills that I don't have? And there are many options that you can use that won't cost you much. Okay, even though some of them you might need to pay. For instance, books. After you have identified the leadership skills that you don't have, I can assure you that there are books written on them. If, for example, you don't have a presentation skill, or you lack the ability rather, you lack the ability to speak publicly, to stand in front of people to speak, because as a leader, you will be required to stand in front of people and speak. There are books, millions of books written on public speaking, written on presentations. All you need to do is to find one or two and begin to read. And as you read, begin to apply. As you read, begin to apply. And this is applicable for any other skill that you discover that you don't have as a leader or as a growing leader. Just buy books on those areas and begin to study them. You can listen to videos on YouTube. There are a lot of people on YouTube who speak on different things. Find them and begin to listen to them. There are audios, there are podcasts that you can listen to that will give you insights, that will give you information on how to build those leadership skills that you don't have. And of course, there are seminars you can attend, there are webinars you can attend, there are trainings you can pay for. There are free trainings, there are paid trainings that you can pay for. Then you can also, if there is a professional body around these skills that you desire, you can sign up to that professional body for the sake of growing as a leader, for the sake of building your leadership skills. This is how people progress in their careers. This is how people progress in their businesses. This is how people progress as individuals. This is how you become a better person. This is how you are able to lead people. All right. So for the budding leaders, let me just give a summary of what I have said so far. For you to become a leader, your number one goal is to list out all the leadership skills that makes one successful, that makes a leader successful. After you have done that, then, okay, I am going to be, at the end of this video, I am going to be putting up a list of leadership skills that every leader should have. So you can download the list and then use it to score yourself, use it to evaluate yourself. All right. So after you have written out this list, you have gotten this list of skills, then determine the ones that you have and determine the ones you don't have. All right. There is no way you will not have some. They will be natural. Some of these skills will come naturally. All you will need to do is to keep improving, growing it, using it, and learning how to better make use of them. So once you have identified the ones you have, you start making use of them. Don't wait till you acquire or till you develop the ones you don't have before you start saying, okay, now I'm ready to be a leader. No, start from where you are, start with what you have, and begin to lead. Okay, lead with the little skills you have. What I always say is what you have is enough for you to get started. And then you proceed to identify the ones you lack and then map out a plan on how to start developing them. And how do you do that? You can buy books, attend seminars, attend webinars, attend trainings, paid or free trainings, videos, audios, podcasts related to the skills and the abilities that you need to develop. Okay, so here is the bottom line. You will not always have the things that you desire. No, but you can always use what you have to get to where you desire. All right, all the things you need may not always be available to you. But if you know how to use what is available to you, you will still end up getting to where you want to be. So that is the essence of the Manger's strategy, making use of what is available. Joseph and Mary did not decide that since the inn wasn't available, they were going back to where they were coming from. No, they made use of the manger. And today we are talking about Jesus being born in the manger. It is as a result of what is available versus what was desirable. They had the money to pay for an aim, but unfortunately, the aim wasn't available. So they made use of what they had, what was available to them. And still, the Savior came to the world and still achieved what he wanted to achieve. So for every budding leader, there will be times you will have to make do with the available as against the desirable. It is a wrong leadership strategy for you to always for you to always wait for the desirable before you take action. If you keep doing that, you're going to miss targets, you are going to miss deadlines, and you're going to miss series of opportunities, even to develop those who are around you. And that takes me to the second aspect of this particular strategy, the Manger strategy. Now I want to address those who are already in leadership positions, who have already developed their leadership skills to certain level. How do you apply the Manger strategy? Number one is embrace the available. You are a leader of a team, you are a leader of an organization, you are a leader of a department, you are a leader of an association, and you keep waiting. You keep waiting for the right people to come. What happens to those who are around you? What happens to upskilling the people around you? What happens to exposing them so that they can develop their potentials, they can develop their capabilities? I understand that it can require more time. It can be more demanding when it comes to, you need to be supervising, you need to be coaching, you need to be training, you will have to be repeating things, as against when you have a qualified and an experienced person that can get it done. But the truth is, if the quality or the level of personnel that you want isn't available, then as a leader who knows what he or she is doing, the next thing to do is to find someone who you can develop to fit into that position. You can't get. Sometimes I see organizations running job vacancies every 3 months, every 2 months for the same position. They are in the market for sometimes 6, 7 years. I have seen people who have been requesting, putting job adverts for the same job position for almost a year. Something is wrong with our organization. It is an indication that there is a problem. If you can't get an already made person to fit the position, what about the people in your organization? Are you saying your organization doesn't have people that can be trained and upskilled to move up to that position? So even sometimes when I'm applying for job position, and I have noticed that this particular organization keeps coming out every month, advertising the same position 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, it tells me that something is not right with that organization. It tells me that something is not right with that organization, because you should have people you can upskill. You should have people you can develop to occupy that position. So as a leader, one of your responsibilities is to develop the people around you. It is not every time you get people who are already made. No, sometimes you need to build them to occupy that position. So you need to take stock of the human resources available to you, their qualities, their knowledge, their abilities, their skills. You need to take stock of them. And then when you do that, then you clarify what you need. Okay, what kind of skills are you looking for? What kind of skills are you looking for the position that you want someone to occupy? And once you know the people you have and you know the skills that you need, look at them. Which of them has the skills you're looking for? How many of them have the skills you're looking for? And then which of them is best suited? Which of them is best qualified? And if the answer is there is no one that is best qualified, then you look for a way to upskill them. You look for a way to upskill them. You can take the best 3, upskill the 3, then give them trial, and the one that performs the best, you give them the position permanently. There is a need for leaders to spend time to develop those they are leading. I know it is cheaper sometimes. Sometimes it's less stressful. Don't let me use the word cheaper. It is less stressful for you to get somebody that is already made and they can just occupy the position. It frees you to be able to focus on other things. I understand. But in a situation where you are spending 6 months, 4 months searching for, and you have people in your organization that you can upskill to occupy the position, which might even be cheaper in the end, because you might not need to pay them as much as somebody that is coming newly. You might just need to increase the salary to an appreciable level, as against someone that will demand a different package from you. So it's important that leaders learn to develop the people with them, people they are leading. Develop them for higher positions. Don't just develop them to be good at what they are doing presently. Develop them also to be suitable for a higher position. It's part of succession planning in organizations. Okay, that is why when somebody leaves an organization, you shouldn't run the organization down. You shouldn't slow down the process of the organization. If you have already included succession planning in your plans and strategy, these are ways to build people. It's a must for every leader, every HOD, every team leader. You must raise people that can occupy your position when you are leaving. You shouldn't be threatened. That makes you a leader. That makes you a real leader. That makes you a leader worthy of being followed. And that is the essence of the Manger's strategy. You make use of what is available. Okay? Make use of what is available. A bird in hand is worth more than 9 in the bush. Until you have the 9 in the bush, take care of the one that you have with you. Okay, so it's important as a leader, you must be committed to developing the talents, the people that you are leading. That is for people who are leading teams, people who are leading or organizations, people who are leading a group of persons. Don't continue to wait for the right person to come. Make the most of the people you already have with you. Okay, so I hope I've been able to give you value today. The Manger strategy is about appreciating what is available as against what is desirable. The truth is, for me, the available beats the desirable anytime, any day. And the truth is, I can work on the available to become desirable. Okay, instead of waiting for the desirable, I will work on the available and make it desirable. And that is the essence of the Manger's strategy. Appreciate what is available to you as a leader, invest in what is available to you as a leader, and build this talent to become desirable. And when they are desirable, you might be afraid that, oh, they are going to leave. Not all of them will leave. And even if they leave, it has become a culture in your organization. Talents will want to come into your organization. Talents will want to be involved in what you're doing because they know when they come, they are going to be built. And when talents are coming in, what do you think is happening to your organization? The image is getting better. Their productivity will definitely get better. But if you refuse to develop those with you because you are afraid of losing them, your company will continue to go down. Your team will not be productive. All right. So it's a strategy that works. It's a strategy that it's risky. There is nothing in business, there is nothing in life that is not risky. But the reward is always greater than whatever loss you might be afraid of experiencing. All right. So the Manger strategy basically is for you to make the most of what is available to you. All right. So till I come your way again next time, thank you for watching, and apologies again for the little distractions that occurred in the beginning of the video. My son came in, and but it's part of what we do. These are some of the things that happens. All right. So thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.